Housewife Annette and writer Ben are thrilled that their daughter Matilda passed the audition and got a role in a movie. The parents are very proud of her, believing she will become a famous actress in the future. Although their family life seems perfect from the outside, the truth is that there has been no tenderness between the wife and husband for a long time. Throughout the evening, Ben admired the popular actress Alicia, who is set to play Matilda's mother. Recently someone leaked an explicit video featuring Alicia online. Besides their daughter, the couple also has a young son Lucas. And this morning it turned out that the babysitter wouldn't be able to come. Ben didn't inform his wife in advance, even though she had a meeting with Richard today. In the end Ben simply took Matilda to the set, leaving Annette alone with a crying baby. While the father took Matilda to the filming location, Annette had no choice but to take little Lucas with her. She was already on the verge of a nervous breakdown. Meanwhile, Matilda was being prepared for filming. Ben was pleasantly surprised to learn that Alicia, his idol, had read his book. Alicia was very friendly with Matilda, wishing to portray a believable mother-daughter relationship during filming. Annette met with her old friend Richard at a restaurant. After having children, Annette never managed to return to work, although she wanted to. Now she dedicates all her time to the family. Richard hadn't seen his old friend in a long time and couldn't help but notice how exhausted she looked. Annette had nothing to share about herself, as all her days were the same. Lucas's crying interrupted their conversation, making Annette feel uncomfortable. She ended her lunch with Richard earlier than planned. Each day it becomes harder for her to cope with her growing anger. This is clearly not the life Annette had dreamed of. Ben does everything he can to gain Alicia's attention. He even defended her when other men were watching the explicit video featuring her. Filming was about to begin, and Matilda was very nervous. Alicia calmed the girl down by holding her hand. Ben couldn't stop admiring. In the evening when the father and daughter returned home, Matilda looked elated. Ben refused dinner, saying they'd had a long day and that Matilda had to wake up early tomorrow. Annette is proud of her daughter, who thoroughly enjoyed working with Alicia. However, Ben clearly enjoyed it even more. Annette quickly realized that her husband had a crush on Alicia. Only after everyone went to bed did Annette allow herself to release her emotions. Checking Ben's laptop, she discovered he had been searching for photos of Alicia. The next morning, filming was postponed because one of the actors fell ill. Alicia invited Matilda and Ben to have lunch together. Naturally, Ben eagerly accepted her invitation. Annette feels like she's slowly losing her mind, trapped within four walls with a little son. It's all incredibly depressing. Meanwhile, Ben and Matilda were visiting Alicia and were about to watch a movie together. Annette performs her daily tasks on autopilot, inching closer to a nervous breakdown. When Matilda fell asleep on the couch, Alicia smiled and took a group photo. Alicia also shared with Ben that she'd never been lucky with men. Her ex-boyfriend was the one who leaked her explicit video online. It seemed Ben genuinely sympathized with Alicia, but he had his own motives. Ben also opened up, saying his wife stays home all the time and behaves strangely. Seeing a photo of Alicia with Ben online, Annette became furious. At the same time, Lucas's crying continued to drive her insane. Annette left the house and started running, desperate to escape the noise. She then walked back home slowly, once again hearing the relentless crying. Thanking Alicia for a lovely evening, Ben prepared to leave for home with his daughter. They exchanged phone numbers. At home, his wife immediately confronted him with the photo. Ben explained that they were just out for a walk and that journalists must have misinterpreted the situation. That night Lucas cried again. Ben slept soundly, so Annette had to get up. Holding the son in her arms, she rummaged through her husband's phone and found the photo of him with Alicia and Matilda. The next day filming resumed. Ben was far more interested in Alicia than in Matilda. Once again Alicia suggested taking a walk together. Ben couldn't stop admiring her acting, telling her how much she inspired him. Alicia in turn admitted how embarrassed she felt about their photo being circulated in the newspapers. Ben reassured her that it was fine, his wife didn't notice him anyway. They hugged, and Matilda saw it. She was distracted by the assistant director, Emily, who took her to grab a snack. Standing in front of the mirror, Annette applied lipstick and kissed her reflection. She wanted to be like Alicia. On the way home, Ben was texting Alicia while driving. They were openly flirting now, not hiding their mutual attraction. Tomorrow was a day off, but Ben didn't seem very excited about it. Annette mentioned wanting to take Matilda to the set herself on Monday, but Ben was against it. All week Annette had felt lonely and was hoping these weekends would fix things. In the morning while Annette was preparing breakfast, Ben received a message from Alicia hinting at spending the weekend together. Annette's mood instantly soured as she realized that her husband's thoughts were consumed by Alicia. However, she tried not to show it for now. During breakfast, Ben announced that he planned to dedicate time to his writing and suggested that Annette take Matilda to the park. Suddenly Matilda said she wanted pancakes like the ones Alicia made. Annette accused her husband of ruining what little they had left. Not wanting the children to see her cry, Annette went to another room. She couldn't understand why Ben was treating her this way. Calming herself down, she returned to the kitchen and then took the children to the park. She didn't expect to run into her old acquaintance, Esther, also a young mother. Unlike Annette, Esther didn't look tired, and she didn't live in the suburbs, finding it dull there. Esther had heard rumors that Annette and Ben had separated and expressed her happiness for her. None of Annette's friends had ever liked Ben, as he often flirted with other women. Barely holding back her emotions, Annette said that she and Ben had not separated and hurried to leave. In her messages, Alicia kept insisting on meeting. Ben couldn't resist anymore and after getting ready, was going to go to her, but his plans were interrupted by the wife, who returned early. After dinner, Ben started feeling nauseous. All night, Annette stayed awake, listening to her husband suffer in the bathroom. This meant that Annette would be taking Matilda to the set today. Naturally, she also brought her son along. While the crew prepared, Annette waited in the trailer. Alicia was visibly upset to learn that Ben wouldn't be there today, or so she wrote in her messages. He would have loved to come but was still unwell. Ben also advised Alicia to stay away from Annette, explaining that she was mentally unstable. Seeing Matilda and Alicia hugging made Annette furious. On set, Alicia and Matilda played the roles of mother and daughter so convincingly that it made Annette jealous. Even during breaks, they kept goofing around. The assistant director mentioned that it was always important to Alicia how she looked. That remark made Annette even more furious. To cheer Ben up, Alicia sent him a photo from the set. He was eagerly anticipating their next meeting. Meanwhile, Annette discreetly entered the trailer containing Alicia's personal dressing room. She rummaged through the rivals' belongings. Against Ben's advice, Alicia approached Annette to introduce herself. The women seemed to have a polite conversation. When Alicia wished Ben a speedy recovery, Annette found it suspicious, as she hadn't mentioned the husband's illness to anyone. At home, she demanded an explanation from Ben. He justified himself by claiming he had told Emily about it. That night, Annette tried to access the husband's phone again, but he had changed the password. Feeling better, Ben returned to the set and saw Alicia hugging another man. Suddenly he received a message from her, saying there was a surprise waiting for him in Matilda's trailer. At the same time, Ben saw Alicia drive off with a man. Ben hurried to Alicia's trailer, eagerly expecting her. But there, he only found her phone with a new explicit video. His thoughts were interrupted by a knock at the door from Emily, who said Matilda was nowhere to be found. Reluctantly, Ben joined the search. It turned out that Matilda had been hiding in the nearby woods all along. The crew had already called Annette, who intended to take her daughter home immediately. Also, Annette was outraged because her husband was not looking after their daughter well, even though that is what he is here for. Seeing her daughter hugging Alicia again, Annette felt a surge of intense jealousy. The whole family drove home in silence. Ben kept texting Alicia. Suddenly Annette slammed on the brakes, claiming she saw a fawn on the road. All Ben could think about was Alicia, imagining being alone with her. For the first time in years, Ben felt truly alive. He knew he couldn't feel the same way with his wife. Early in the morning, Annette woke the daughter and left, slamming the door. That meant Ben was forced to look after the son. Annette ignored his calls, leaving a note reminding him to feed Lucas. Ben was disappointed he wouldn't get to see Alicia that day. On set, Matilda, playing her role, pleaded with her mother, portrayed by Alicia, not to leave her. After a successful scene, everyone applauded and praised Matilda for her performance. Leaving Emily to watch over the girl, Annette approached Alicia and whispered something to her. After spending the entire day with his little son, Ben was exhausted. Annette prepared dinner, applied makeup and put on a beautiful dress to celebrate Matilda's final day of filming. Suddenly the doorbell rang. Standing on the doorstep was Alicia with a bottle of wine. It was Annette who had invited her, much to Ben's displeasure. At dinner, the women conversed as if nothing unusual was happening. Ben quickly relaxed as well, though not for long. Matilda mentioned that during filming, she cried for real, recalling the time her father was away for 8 months. To ease the tension at the table, Annette politely suggested that Alicia help her tuck Matilda into bed. Later, Alicia thanked Annette for the opportunity to say goodbye to Matilda, and the women returned to the table. Now that filming was over, Alicia had a choice: leave or stay. Suddenly an argument broke out between Annette and Ben, which clearly embarrassed Alicia. She hurriedly left, despite Ben's attempts to stop her. He was furious with his wife for humiliating him in front of Alicia. Ben realized that Annette was aware of his feelings for Alicia and announced his intention to divorce. Ben was convinced that Alicia understood him like no one else could. He also regretted all the years wasted with Annette. Leaving his wife behind, Ben followed Alicia and tried calling her. However, the wife answered the phone instead. It turned out that some time ago, she had replaced Alicia's contact in his phone with her own. Ben had been texting his wife all along, completely unaware. Everything else had been his imagination. It was Annette who had poisoned Ben's dinner. She had also been the one in the video in the trailer, disguised as Alicia. Ben had fallen in love with an image he had created himself. In reality, his interactions with Alicia had been nothing more than friendly. Blinded by rage, Ben lost control of the car and got into an accident. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel not to miss more exciting new products. Also, the authors will be pleased if you leave your opinion in the comments.